Please listen carefully.
Well, hello, universe. Welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Summers McKay.
And I'm Kristy Jansen, and we're part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to one focused on solutions.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And now we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy podcast. Today is Wednesday, the 6th of January, 2021. Okay, so it's not really Wednesday. We're pretending
We're
it's
pretending
Wednesday.
it is. We're imagining that it's Wednesday, and it's because Summers, you're leaving for your trip, and you're going to be on the road Wednesday morning. So we're doing this on Tuesday.
Yeah, we're doing this
out
on
of the
Tuesday.
way.
We're doing our little pre-record, but that is simply feasible because the amazing writers at the Optimist Daily are ahead of the game and already have the stories in for Wednesday. So thank you to our extraordinary writing team for pulling that off. So not much has happened, Kristy, since the recording of our last podcast and now, because it's been approximately 3 minutes. But I did want to ask you before I go, do you have any packing tips? Any suggestions, any must brings or don't brings when you're traveling with a family?
Definite solution, and definitely works. I've traveled with toddlers many times in my traveling history. And the idea is to take toys that they already have and wrap them up with wrapping paper, which is super fun for little kids to open their presents, and they get a present, which yes, it's one they've already had, but it's just the fun of unwrapping something.
Exactly.
I'm sure Brennan has learned how fun it is to unwrap stuff now that Christmas is now done as well.
Exactly. She does. She has this habit of going, ope. And what I did, that's open. And what I did was I gave her kind of a gift a day for the duration of the Christmas holiday because I didn't want to give them all to her on the actual day. So now she gets up really excited to open things. And I just wanted to bring this back to what I talked about yesterday, is that January 6th, Epiphany, the day you give gifts, Kristy, you have given me the perfect solution to continue to give gifts to Brennan while we're on the road.
And
so thank you.
I'm glad to hear that. And the other thing you can do is if you find like a bag or boxes, that can also be part of the opening process. I have a friend's daughter who I gave a little gift to that has a purse and some other things. And I gave that to them yesterday. And of course, we're socially distant. I'm not actually getting to see Olivia right now.
Right.
But she sent me a video of Olivia opening my present, and it was the most adorable thing because it was a purse with a little purse inside with another LOL surprise. She was delighted.
Oh.
It was the funnest thing to watch her opening this. So so having fun things like that is great. And the other thing I was just telling you is try to keep her in the car seat as much as you can, even though you're in a motorhome.
Right.
You don't want a little kid running around.
Exactly.
When you're on the road.
Well, speaking of mischievous little things running around, I think our first headline made us both smile. We actually have two animal headlines today that made us smile. Why don't you kick it off with our friends from today?
So this one, the headline is Why Sea Otters May Soon Return to San Francisco Bay. And this is sort of a fun one because sea otters were hunted to near extinction, but the population that has, there's been a resurgence on the coast of California. There's more than 3,000 now living, and conservationists are looking for new habitats to help the species find new places to expand. And the San Francisco Bay was part of their natural habitat in the olden times before they were hunted to death. But it's not necessarily a place you would think would be a great place to have a lot of these animals running around in. But even though it's busy with boats and there's a big city, there's actually been research from San Francisco State University and Estuary and Science Center that has found that there's certain pockets of the bay which are actually perfectly suited for otters. And they've mapped out all the high-risk areas where there's lots of water pollution or really frequent boat passages, and ruling those spots out, there's actually hundreds of acres of high quality habitat still available. So the idea is to reintroduce some of these otters there and see if they how well they do. They've got to have food. There's some optimism about being able to create a sustainable, viable ecosystem with the sea otters in San Francisco Bay. It'll be interesting. It's not,
What
there's some
what
concerns.
were they
But
when they were hunting for the otters? They were largely hunting for the pelts, right? Assumedly
yes.
that was the impetus as well as
Yeah.
food, but you can't really eat much of an otter.
No, but they might be eating some of the fish or shellfish.
Ah, right.
So
Okay.
they're competing with commercial fisheries for those resources, but it was the pelts that really got them. They were hunted to extinction because otter pelts were very useful, especially
Right.
in prior centuries.
Well,
And also,
I love this idea because there's an area north of where we live here in California that has a beautiful otter preserve, and it's like escaping me. It's up by Pismo, the rock, right? What's it called?
in Morro Bay,
Morro Bay, exactly, in Morro Bay. And I have spent hours and hours watching otters up there. They are the most charming creatures, and I just love the idea of my dear San Francisco being filled with otters in the bay. I think that's just a lovely, lovely image. Well, our next headline is another animal headline, and this one reads, "These giant crabs could help protect coral reefs in the Caribbean." So basically, climate-inducing bleaching has a coral reef detriment, but there's also seaweed overgrowth, which is a concern, and seaweed overgrowth, which covers up the coral, shading them from light and preventing new coral from growing. This is something that has been witnessed heavily in the Caribbean, and this is historically due to the fact that herbivore species like sea urchins that kept seaweed in check have largely died off suddenly for reasons unknown, but likely contributed to climate change and situations and, food chains. Well, the Caribbean king crabs have shown up to the rescue, and I just love the idea of these crabs showing up in mass. They are not picky eaters and will finish off seaweed that the other animals avoid, which actually help to restore the coral reefs. This was discovered by a group of scientists looking into ways to save the lush ecosystem. The scientists are based out of Florida International University. And basically, the quote says, "We're really astounded by the first year's results when we saw on average about an 80% reduction in seaweed on those coral reefs where they put the crabs," says Mark J. Butler IV, the study co-author. So I think this is very exciting, a reintroduction of the native crabs, right? They are native, but they're not naturally abundant, and few survive to adulthood. However, if they can help them survive to adulthood and help them continue to breathe, then perhaps a expansion of the crabs will continue to offer an expansion of the coral reef. It makes me want to go scuba diving, not to disturb them, but to watch these darling crabs munching away on seaweed. I just love it.
Summers, you have to make sure you don't eat them, because when you say you had crab.
Oh my gosh, you're going to rat me out. You're going to rat me out to everyone. Yes, we had crab on New Year's Eve. And yes, it was delicious. And no, I am not. I am an omnivore. No, I'm really more of a pescatarian. I'm trying very, very hard to reduce the animal meat that we consume. But yes, we had crab on Christmas or on New Year's Eve, and it was amazing. And I actually feel like our daughter just fell in love with having crab, which we think is really funny to have an 18-month-old saying more, 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 and doing the little sign for please, demanding more crab. But she does also eat seaweed. So, she's participating across the food chain.
Well, good. That would be another option. I love that crabs are eating the seaweed and helping to keep that invasive species at bay. Hopefully that they don't become their own invasive. But we should try to harvest that seaweed and use it. Super healthy to be eaten.
All right, guys, that's all the time we have for today. Yes. Even though it's cutting it short, I have a tech meeting to get to and a bunch of people who I have to talk to before I just hop on a bus.
Me too.
So,
me too.
Yep. Thanks, everybody, for listening to the Optimist Daily Update. We'll wrap this up quick. We promise to cover the current events with accuracy, legitimate sources, and offer you the information needed most to chart new paths for all of us. Please consider becoming an emissary. You know the drill, $5 a month. If you're already an emissary, give the gift of emissary membership to someone else. Kristy, have a great 10 o'clock meeting. Amelia, you're amazing. I'll see you guys all on the road.
All right, Summers. Bye. Thanks, everybody, for listening.